Time now for The Real Estate Connection with Stephen Theard, a realtor and certified probate and real estate specialist. Whether you're a first-time homebuyer or a seasoned investor looking to downsize, move up, or refinance, this program is for you.
A house in the middle of our street. That you've got to in the middle of.
From probate sales to landscape design to home repairs and maintenance, this is your weekly look into all things real estate. Now your host for The Real Estate Connection, Stephen Theard.
Hey everybody, welcome to the show. Welcome to another episode of The Real Estate Connection. I almost said connection. Where's my bugle? Anyway, welcome to another episode of The Real Estate Connection, hosted by me, Stephen Theard, your real estate broker here on my podcast and apps, and sponsored by Good Patriot Realty, a salute to home ownership. And speaking of salutes, I'd like to take a moment to salute all of our armed service members as we just got done celebrating Memorial Day. Thank you for all of those who paid the ultimate price for our freedoms. The men in our military services and women who served throughout our great illustrious history as a country, from the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, and now Space Force. So thank you again, and here's a big fat round of applause for you. All right. Let's get this party started. Okay, here we go. I feel like I haven't been on the air in a while. I feel kind of a little bit off, so I have to apologize to you about that. Oh, my words are coming out weird. Anyway, today's show is I have to do what to sell my house? That's right. You have to do what to sell your house? We are going to talk about things that we have not mentioned before on the Real Estate Connection. And that is point of sale ordinances or government required retrofits. So the government can step in at different times in your home ownership life and make requirements of you as a homeowner for you to do certain things in order for you to sell your home. And we've never talked about it. We've talked about probate. We've talked about getting your home ready for sale. We've talked about buying, why it's important. We've talked about interest rates, market updates. But today, this is going to be really important for you if you're a homeowner and if you're a buyer, because how the ordinances are written or what needs to be done also affects you on the purchasing side, especially whether or not the seller has the cash on hand up front to take care of the issue, or if they're cash poor and they're wanting to shift the burden onto you, the seller. So if you've never been, or if you've watched this, or you've never watched this show before, or listened to this podcast and you'd like to be on the podcast distribution list, if you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. Smash that and then subscribe, and then hit the little bell down there so you'll get a little notification, the bell. And then if you're watching on Facebook, you can just hit the like and share, especially if you know somebody in a municipality that has a point of sale ordinance. Now, today we're going to be talking about a specific city within Northern California, and that city is Morgan Hill. Now, I don't know if you are from Morgan Hill or know anything about the city, or if you're from California, but Morgan Hill is a small little hamlet about 30 miles south of San Jose, and it's a bedroom community. It's separated by a lot of open space from the big city. It has lots of families in town. They have a really quaint downtown with lots of restaurants and boutique shops. And then there's all sorts of living lifestyles in Morgan Hill. You can live up on the hills and overlook a lake, or you could overlook the valley from the east or the west, or you could be in the valley and a tract neighborhood. Or there are lots of land that are still available, half acre to an acre plots where people can raise cows, have some chickens, or even some goats out there. So it's a little bit country, it's a little residential and rural, but it's mostly suburban, and it's outside of the city. So it's a lot calmer, there isn't as much traffic, and it's a lot quieter. And it's a little bit of a high-end community where you're having people that don't necessarily want to live in higher priced areas like Los Gatos, Palo Alto, Cupertino, or Almaden Valley in the San Jose area. They'll come down to Morgan Hill because they can buy a much larger executive home for less money. So you would think that the city would have maintained the infrastructure in such a way that they would not have to pass along costs of maintenance to the people that live in the city of Morgan Hill. But all of that changed in 2021. An ordinance was passed by the city council requiring that all homeowners in the city of Morgan Hill get their sewer laterals inspected prior to the sale of the home. Now, it is not for all housing. It is for, and we'll get into the details. There are some exemptions, and there are different ways that there is a particular way that you have to go about the process. But the point is that Morgan Hill is not the only city within the state of California or municipality within the state that has a similar ordinance to this. The city of Oakland has one. There are other Northern California cities that have this as well. I believe Santa Cruz also has it. And there is also another ordinance regarding the sale or the transfer of property for low flow toilets and for shower heads that went into effect this year as well. So what I'm trying to say is if you live in a city or a municipality that's never had any of this before and you hear it being spoken about, you need to pay attention because it can be very costly and expensive to the homeowner and make it more difficult for you to sell your house. So this show is just basically to inform you of what's going on in one small city, to give you an awareness and a heads up for maybe where you're living and to check into it if it doesn't already exist. And if it does exist in your town, this is a reminder for you to get more acquainted with the statutes and the laws within your city or municipality so that when you are getting ready to sell your property, that it doesn't catch you by surprise. So the first thing we're going to talk about for the city of Morgan Hill are sewer laterals. So the question is, what is a sewer lateral? So a sewer lateral is a pipe that transports wastewater from all of the drains of a residence or building to the city sewer main. Sewer laterals are privately owned and maintained by property owners. So just think of it this way. We have toilets, we have showers, we have bathtubs, and we have sinks. And so all of that water that you either flush down the toilet or run down the drain gets collected into piping, and those pipes, that water and those pipes run into one main pipe at some point on your property. All that water flows into a privately built pipe, and then it continues to flow until it connects with the city's main sewer line. And that's going to contain all of your wastewater, whether it's human waste or it's wastewater from taking showers, washing your hands, or running your dishwasher, or even drains on your property that are catching overflow. I believe. I could be wrong on that. But basically from your house, the water flow through pipes is going to connect to one line, and that one line is going to connect to the sewer. All right, so the property owners in Morgan Hill have a responsibility to maintain their sewer laterals. So this is on the homeowner. And so, for example, if for some instance or something happens where all of a sudden you find that all the water is backing up into your house. And when you flush the toilet, it's not going anywhere. You call a plumber. And so the first thing a plumber is probably going to do is plunge to make sure there's no blockage in the pipe. And if they do plunge and that doesn't work, they're going to snake to make sure there's no blockage in the pipe leading from your house to your sewer lateral. And then if that's all clear, they will go to the clean out, lift off the lid, and look inside your sewer lateral to see if there's any blockage there. The worst case scenario for you is if that sewer lateral is broken, or there are trees that have roots that have grown through the pipes that is now blocking it. And at that point, you're looking at a very costly repair. Most times they're going to have to dig or trench out that entire thing, pull it out, put in a new one, reconnect it to the main, and then trench it back over and put everything back in place. So if you can imagine, if it's running along the side of your house and it's covered with cement, they have to jackhammer up all of that cement. They got to pull out the line. They got to put it back. They got to replace all the cement. It can be very, very expensive. So I'm going to read to you what is required by Morgan Hill, which you might find similar in your municipality, that's going to be required of you to maintain your sewer lateral. So the code section reads, each property owner shall, at the property owner's expense, inspect, maintain, in good working order, repair, and replace as necessary the private sewer lateral so that it does not cause or contribute to any sewage overflow from either the private sewer lateral or the public sewer. The private sewer lateral shall be free of displaced joints, open joint, root intrusion, substantial deterioration of the line, cracks, leaks, inflow, infiltration of extraneous water, fats, oils, and grease, sediment deposit, or any other similar conditions, defects, or obstructions likely to cause or contribute to blockage of the private sewer lateral or the public sewer. So what that means is if you have anything in your sewer lateral that is going to cause the flow to stop or to increase. So for instance, if you have a crack in your sewer lateral and then you have a heavy rain and that water is coming through the earth and now it's infiltrating that sewer line, and then that is causing more runoff water to go through your sewer line and into the city sewer system, that's a problem as well. And if you have grease buildup or you have obstructions or all that good stuff, that's something that is required for you to maintain as a homeowner. Now, here's the rub. In Morgan Hill, they passed an ordinance recently that says before you can transfer ownership of your house to a new owner and your home is, I believe, 15 years or older, and we're going to get to that detail in a minute, but that's just 30,000 feet for now. You have to have your sewer lateral inspected, and it has to pass inspection. Then they'll issue a certificate, and then you can transfer the house in the sale of your property. Now, it may not sound like much on the outside, but it is time consuming, and there are details that people need to pay attention to in Morgan Hill. Now, I'm using Morgan Hill as an example, but you're going to find similar issues in various municipalities across the state of California. So we already went through what a private sewer lateral is. We're going to go through what the city of Morgan Hill is saying as to why they've done this. Okay. While this trunk line, which is the main, why is a sewer lateral program necessary? The trunk line is designed to carry all the wastewater generated by homes and businesses. It is not large enough to carry stormwater. Unfortunately, as the wastewater collection system has aged, these private sewer laterals are subject to the cracking, root fill, displacement, and failures that allow stormwater to rush in and overflow the city's infrastructure during large storm events. The stormwater intrusion has resulted in sewage overflows in the trunk line that can pollute local creeks and rivers and could ultimately compromise drinking water quality. All right, So I talked to a plumber friend of mine, and he basically said it's a giant excuse for the city to transfer the upgrading of sewer lines to the homeowner because he doesn't feel as if there would be enough water runoff that would really affect the trunk line and cause issues with the sewage system or drinking water down the line. However, that is what the city of Morgan Hill has said is the issue. So the program officially began for all of you who are listening who live in Morgan Hill, California on June 1st, 2022. So it is now officially in effect as law if you are trying to sell your house within the city limits of Morgan Hill. So, who is affected by the program? All private property owners, residential, commercial, industrial within the city limits of Morgan Hill. This ordinance applies to all properties that are more than 15 years old. If the property is a new construction that is 15 years or less of age, this inspection is not required. So, if you happen to have bought a brand new house and it's less than 15 years old, you're exempt. You have no worries, you have nothing to worry about. If you own a home that's 15 years or older, then this absolutely affects you unless your sewer lines are connected in a private interest, private unit development. Basically, you're in a townhouse that has multiple lines running into a private line that then connects into the city sewer. Then there's different rules that apply, and so you can check with the city ordinance. And if you're in a municipality where you do have a townhouse or you do have a condo, double check with the city before you get ready to sell it to make sure that the homeowners association is in compliance. I don't know if it will affect the sale of the townhouse. It doesn't get into that right in the ordinance or in the summaries that I've been reading, but you never know. Things can change, and it may be different for your municipality. Sewer laterals are an issue, especially in older cities. The older the city and the more aged the sewer system is, this becomes a bigger and bigger problem. And the older the house is, the more of an issue it could be, especially if you're dealing with homes that were built in the Victorian era. The materials that they used back then don't last as long or have been in the ground for a very long time and probably have issues. So if you're looking to buy a Victorian home that was built in the 20s, this may be something that you want to add to your inspection process just to know, even if there is no ordinance in the city that you're buying in, just to make sure that once you get in the house, it's not going to become an issue for you, which could be very expensive. So what are the responsibilities of private property owners, right? We've gone through some of this, but one is to maintain a fully functional lateral sewer system. Okay, and as far as it is in regards to the sale for Morgan Hill specifically, prior to the sale of the property, you have to find out and hire a National Association of Sewer Service Companies, NASSCO certified licensed plumber known as a qualified contractor to complete a CCTV video inspection of the sewer lateral. Now, when I read the ordinance, it did not say closed circuit television inspection. It just said inspection. So when they were putting together the rules that went with the ordinance, I believe that they specified that they wanted closed circuit television. So what does that mean? That means you have to hire a qualified plumber to come out and run a CCTV line down your sewer lateral and video record it. And if it passes, then you have to send in that video to the city. The city has to review the video and say, yes, they agree that it passes, and then they will issue a certificate. So that's a rigmarole, right? If you're getting ready to sell your house, you're going to have to, ahead of time, arrange for all this to happen. Make sure you know where the access is for your sewer lateral to be inspected. Make sure that you can get it scheduled and have it done in advance. But the rub is, if it fails, you have to repair the issues prior to selling your house in order to get the certificate. Now, What is the certificate good for? Good question. It's not just so that you can sell your house, right? It is so that the new owner can have their water turned on at the property. Let me repeat that. The certificate is so that you can have the new owner, the buyer, have their water turned on at the property. If you don't have the certificate, you don't get water. Everybody needs water to live at their property. So they have you kind of cornered. You can't do much about that. So in order to deal with this, you have to do what has been told. Now, what is the estimated cost? Right? So this is a big deal. Inspections of a private sewer lateral may cost anywhere from $300 to $800, and that is just for the inspection. Again, let me repeat that. The cost for a sewer lateral inspection can be anywhere from $300 to $800. So when you're getting ready to sell your house, not only are you doing repairs and maybe doing some minor fixes and painting to the property, and then also maybe sprucing up the yard, which is going to cost you some money, especially in this inflationary period that we're living in. But then also you're going to want to have home inspections, your roof, your termite, and a general home inspection so that the buyers know what they're getting into before the house is listed for sale. And those run anywhere for between $650 to $700. And then you're going to add on top of that a requirement from the city of another $300 to $800. So we're looking at anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 of inspections before you even get your house on the market. So this is not a small thing to have to deal with, and therefore you should know what you're dealing with ahead of time. Now, what could it cost to make necessary repairs, to either install a new clean out pipe or to repair things that are wrong? It can range $2,000 to $4,000 plus the inspection cost, and fixing serious structural or operational defects can vary widely, with a full lateral replacement, including new clean out, costing on average between $10,000 to $15,000. $10,000 to $15,000 so that you can get a certificate from the city so that the new owner can turn on their water. This is not a small thing for homeowners in any municipality when you're dealing with sewer laterals. All right. So you may have to clean it out because of obstructions and stuff like that. And that would be your best case scenario. Or it just passes. Or you may have a kink in the line or a crack somewhere and they can repair it. But if the thing has structurally failed to a point where they can't repair it and they have to replace it, it can be really, really, really expensive. Now, you also have to have a qualified contractor, which means they have to have this certified license from NASCO, and they have to be a licensed contractor. So they have to have a certification from NASCO, be a licensed contractor, and the contractor must have a City of Morgan Hill business license. So what does that do? That cuts down on the amount of contractors that are out there to choose from, which means if it's a hot real estate season, this could delay you for a while, okay? You may have to start thinking about this 3, 4, 5, 6 months in advance of even getting your house ready for sale. For all of you who own homes in Morgan Hill that are 15 years or older, long gone are the days of, hey, I'm going to get my house on the market in 2 weeks, right? Because you have to deal with this sewer lateral issue. You get the certificate of compliance. Now, the good thing about the certificate of compliance, right? You're thinking, what's good about any of this, Stephen? The good thing is that the certificate is good for 10 years. Okay, 10 years. So if you get this certificate of compliance, and maybe you're planning ahead, you know there's nothing wrong with your sewer system, you know there's nothing wrong with the sewer lateral, right? You go get it inspected now. Just get it out, done out of the way, bite the bullet, pay the 300, 500, 600, 700, 800 bucks, get the sewer lateral inspected, get the certificate, and it's good for 10 years. Then you have a 10-year window when you can sell your house and just transfer that thing right on over and not have to worry about it. So it pays to be proactive if you live in a municipality where there is maybe a sewer lateral transfer or inspection transfer ordinance. Now, this is just for Morgan Hill. I'm not sure if certificate of compliances are issued in other municipalities that have long lasting shelf lives like the one in Morgan Hill. It could have been a concession that was built in because there might have been an uproar by the community when it went into effect as to give homeowners some relief, right? So you do need to check your municipality. I'm not sure how Oakland works and I'm not sure how Santa Cruz works, but you do need to make sure that you understand. And oh, by the way, if you have any questions about your specific fact pattern or you're getting ready to sell and you want to know, what are the city ordinances and maybe requirements before I sell my house where I'm located, go ahead and give me a call right now. Stephen Theard with Good Patriot Realty at 408-472-0817. Again, 408-472-0817. California DRE number 017000019, just to take care of the legal. And we are an equal opportunity brokerage. No discrimination here. All right. So, does a qualified contractor have to do the work? No. You can get a non-qualified contractor to do the work. They can be conducted by any licensed plumbing contractor with a City of Morgan Hill business license for the City of Morgan Hill. So you can use a plumber that's not NASCO certified to do the repair work. However, after the repair work is done, you need to get the line re-inspected with a new video and send the new video into the city so that they can review it and issue your certificate so that the new homeowner can get their water turned on. So the question is, Stephen, what if I don't have the money? I can't get this done. I'm selling my house. I'm going to use the proceeds. I'm kind of cash poor. I don't have that kind of money laying around. What can I do? Well, the city does offer a transfer of liability or transferability for the requirements to get the repair done to the buyer. It has to be signed and notarized by both the buyer and the seller and submitted to the city. And then the new homeowner has 180 days to complete the repairs. Otherwise, I do believe that their water will be turned off. So there is some incentive, but you can negotiate. So for instance, you do the inspection, you bite the bullet, you pay the $400 or $500. You find out that there's $10,000 worth of repairs that need to be done. You reduce the price of your home by the $10,000, and you kick the repair into the buyer's pocket, buyer's hands to get done, and then you walk away, and they take care of it within 3 months. Resubmit a home inspection, resubmit the sewer lateral inspection and get a certificate. And then they have a certificate that's good for 10 years. And if they have to move within that time period, then they don't have to worry about it either in the future. So again, this is an opportunity for you to be proactive. However, when you're buying homes in areas where they have government required retrofits or point of sale ordinances like this one, it's going to be important how you negotiate the purchase contract when you're writing an offer, especially now in Morgan Hill, because there are boxes that you can check that says that the seller's required for government required retrofits or repairs. And if the seller signs that and they find out because they didn't get the inspection done up front that they're sitting on $10,000, there might be a renegotiation point in the deal, even though your contract says they're responsible for it. If they don't have the cash, they don't have the cash. So then you have to decide, do you really want the house, and will you renegotiate the deal in order for you to get the house so that they can get it sold? Because if you don't get this certificate, you don't get any water. That's really, really important. So there is an inspection report. I have a copy of what it looks like as far as what the inspector fills out. And here are some of the issues that they can check the box on, that they will give over to the city and sign off on. So it says broken or missing pipe or joints, right? That could be an issue. Cracked or fractured pipe or joins. Grease deposits, that's a thing. So we used to not really care so much about the grease going down the pipe. Now you're going to care if you live in Morgan Hill, because if that sewer lateral has a lot of built up of grease, it may have to be cleaned out in order for you to get a certificate, which means a second inspection after they find it and clean it out. Infiltration or exfiltration, meaning somewhere along the line it's been infiltrated by soil impediments, or there's a broken pipe and it's leaking. Offset joints are an issue. There's a sag in the line, meaning there should be a straight pipe, but somewhere in the line it sags down. That's an issue. Solid debris, roots, other drainage connection, not sewer. So somebody tied into the pipe that shouldn't have tied into it for other reasons. And pipe out of round, meaning the pipe is supposed to be round, but it's like dented somewhere along the line. That causes, I believe, a fail as well. You can check with your NASCO certified inspector to verify what causes the sewer lateral inspection to fail and what doesn't, just so that you're aware early on, and then you can take care of these issues ahead of time. So again, what it boils down to is you do need to be careful about, one, what your city's up to as far as coming up with different ordinances that are going to be put in place in order for you to sell your home, because it's a big deal. It's a massive amount of money, especially in California, your main investment usually, and nowhere in Northern California is a home unless it's a mobile home. But anything that's a single family residential home or a condo is usually, $400,000 minimum and up. So we're talking about a lot of money. And in order for you to transfer title to a new homeowner, if your city has these point of sale ordinances, you need to be very familiar. Also, if you're a buyer and you don't want to deal with this later on down the line, you might be careful about what cities you buy your housing in, right? If you don't want to have to deal with a point of sale ordinance, such as a sewer lateral for yourself for later on, if you plan on being in the house for 20, 25 years, you may not, necessarily want to buy a house inside the city limits, maybe outside the city limits, but still in Morgan Hill, and learn to play the game. Or if you already own a home and you have no issues, but you're thinking about selling in the next 5 years, go ahead and have the inspection done now when you know there are no issues. Get the certificate. It's good for 10 years. And then when you get ready to sell your house, you won't have any problems. There's also a water conservation ordinance that was recently passed in the city of Morgan Hill as well, that requires low flow toilets to be in the property and low flow shower heads. I'm not going to get into the details of that, but it is another issue where you have to have a contractor, a certified contractor plumber come in, make an inspection, and sign off on a report and issue it to the city so that you can get a certificate for being able to have your water on. So those are the two city ordinance that I know of in Morgan Hill. So if you live in that town and you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me at 408-472-0817. Again, 408-472-0817. Or if you just want to get on the podcast distribution list to get good information like this, you can send me an email at info@realestateconnectionradio.com. That's info@realestateconnectionradio.com. And with that, we are going to sign off with this. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Joshua 1:9. And a great big thank you to our men and women in uniform who have served us and paid the ultimate price, and to their families as well, because they paid the ultimate price too, as they've lost loved ones for our freedoms. God bless you. God bless the United States of America, and we'll see you next week on another episode of The Real Estate Connection, brought to you by Good Patriot Realty, a salute to home ownership.
This has been The Real Estate Connection with Realtor and Certified Probate and Real Estate Specialist Stephen Theard. Licensed Cal BRE number 0170019. For more information on this program, visit realestateconnectionradio.com. To contact Stephen directly, call 408-472-0817 or email info@realestateconnectionradio.com. And be sure to tune in next week at this time for The Real Estate Connection.